When I was a kid, I really liked whales. I loved the way they moved and used their big, elegant tails and strokes to move through water. Dolphins, sharks, and most fish use a back-and-forth motion too, even if they're not as cool as whales. Bacteria, in comparison, look kinda silly. Although the goal is the same, cross water to get from point A to point B, bacteria don't look anything like scaled-down whales. In fact, neither do any microorganisms. Instead of traditional tails, microorganisms use rotations, bulges, secretion of materials, whatever ways they can find, but never a whale tail's reciprocal motion. So why do two organisms with the same goal operate so differently? The Reynolds number. In order to understand the Reynolds number, we need to understand fluid as layers. Each layer of fluid follows a path of flow called a streamline. The behavior of these streamlines depends on factors like viscosity and the mass and velocity of the object moving through them. Viscosity is drag. It's why it's harder to swirl a spoon through honey than water. In liquids, viscosity is due to the cohesive forces between molecules. These viscous forces stop streamlines from crossing by maintaining these hydrogen bonds, so streamlines follow predictable paths. This kind of flow is called laminar flow. We see laminar flow everywhere, from dripping honey to slightly turned-on faucets to blood flow in small vessels. However, objects with enough mass and velocity can ruin the order. When an object moves through fluids, it directly bumps into fluid molecules, transferring its kinetic energy. The viscous forces fight to prevent the hydrogen bonds from being broken. At some point, the kinetic energy in parts of the flow overcomes viscosity and the streamlines cross. This is turbulent flow. In fluid flow, inertial and viscous forces are constantly in a fight to keep the streamlines straight or send them into chaos. The ratio between these forces is called the Reynolds number. At high Reynolds numbers, inertial forces dominate. Weak bonds are broken and reformed, and thus it's irreversible. Irreversible flows are everywhere in our world. If you pour dye into water, mix it up, and retrace your steps, the dye won't return to its original position. The mixture stays mixed. But if you use a highly viscous liquid, like corn syrup, you'll find the exact opposite happens. Once my motions are reversed, the dye comes back to the exact same spot. Increasing the viscosity of the fluid is one way to ensure a low Reynolds number, but reducing the size or speed of the obstacle moving through achieves the same laminar flow. Whales and humans live at high Reynolds numbers. Bacteria, though, live life as if they're moving through corn syrup. Because of the reversibility of fluids at low Reynolds numbers, a whale size down couldn't move. If a bacterium tried to wave a tail one way to move forward, it would move backward the same distance once it moved the tail back. The Reynolds number is a simple formula that helps explain the diversity of organism shapes as we cross orders of magnitude. And with a bit of 7th grade algebra, we can explain why whales look so cool and bacteria look like bacteria.